In some news out of Germany from yesterday, it appears that Tesla is all set to roll out Tesla insurance in Germany and in the EU at large. Let's take a look. And for those of you interested in investing, check out WeBull, an amazing platform for buying and selling stocks, and now cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Dogecoin, and others. Open an account and get a free stock valued at up to $200, and fund your account and get another free stock valued at up to $1,600. Check out the link in the description and help the channel at the same time. Hey y'all, it's Dr. Know-It-All. So first of all, I want to acknowledge that I'm talking about Tesla insurance and stuff. Interesting topic and all, but obviously there are much bigger things happening in the world today. My thoughts and prayers are with the people in Ukraine and quite frankly to the world at large. It's a very terrifying situation. So anyway, I'm just going to put that out there. Not that my thoughts matter much, but hopefully added to everybody else's, it'll make some difference. Anyway, I'm going to talk about Tesla insurance because it is important to the way things go with automobiles, driving, consumers, all of that stuff is very important, but obviously all of that pales in importance to what's going on in the world. So I certainly just want to acknowledge that. And if it makes sense to talk about these other issues more at some future point, I will. But at this point, I really don't know what else to say about it. So anyway, let's turn to Tesla insurance. So once again, Claudia has brought this to my attention. It turns out she's my European office, I guess, if you want to talk about the news or something like that. But this is from Finance Magazine in German. This, of course, is translated into English. Google Übersetzer. I hope I pronounced that. I hope I pronounced any of these German words anything close to properly. Sorry about that. So, and I know there's one of these that's like Überstrasse, something like that. But I never know where to put the st and where to put the st. So anyway, just forgive me. I apologize in advance. I love German. I wish I read it better, but I certainly pronounced it better. But anyway, I don't. Anyway, on to the topic at hand. Tesla brings telematics car tariffs to Germany. I believe that I looked at the original German. If you kind of scroll over it, it will show it to you. And obviously it says Tarife. So I think that it really means rates in English would be the proper translation. Usually you say insurance rates in English, at least in American English. So anyway, where you see tariffs, it should probably be read rates to be in German correctly. But anyway, so what they're saying is telematics, of course, means that you're delivering data from the car to the insurance company so that the insurance company can then examine you as an individual driver versus the statistics. That, of course, is Tesla's big advantage. They are currently in 5 states in the United States. California is a bit of a weird one because California actually does not use telematics because of the data protection privacy laws. In California, it doesn't let them do that. So Tesla is actually part of the standard market for insurance as opposed to, gosh, the other states are Texas, Ohio. I'll have to look down lower anyway. But Texas, I know they've been talking about extensively because they say Texas is a really good example because it's been using telematics and it was the first state that was allowed to do that. And so they've actually had good uptake in Texas itself in the United States. So anyway, Tesla's goal over 2022, I think they said 80% of the population by the end of 2022 would be covered by Tesla insurance, potentially, right? Obviously, if you want it, you're not forced to take it. But anyway, they would cover a lot of states by the end of 2022. And the TLDR here of this article is it looks like by the end of 2022-ish, they're looking to introduce it in Germany and the EU at large. So anyway, reading the first sentence up here, the electric car manufacturer is positioning itself to enter the insurance business in Germany. The evaluation of the vehicle data and other effects from digitization and automation should bring a cost advantage of 35 to 48% compared to conventional insurers. Depending on the driving style, savings of up to 60% should even be possible for the policyholder. So that's the big takeaway, of course, right? For us consumers, the obvious thing is that if we can save even 20% on car insurance, that's a massive amount. And of course, if you're a real safe driver, you could save up to 60%. I've had the opportunity to drive on their Tesla insurance rating system in order to get the FSD beta. You have to drive very, very carefully to get a score of like 99 or 100. I think you can be a relatively safe driver, but still drive in kind of a normal manner and still get in the mid 90s, and that will still save you quite a bit of money. Apparently, the average, according to Tesla, is about an 80, and so therefore, if you look at the bell curve, the middle of that bell curve is 80%. There's a top part above that, 80 to 100%, and then there's the rest of the bell curve that goes from 80 to 0. So the middle of the bell curve is about 80%. All right, let's take a look at this picture too, because this picture actually shows some differences from the way that the full self-driving beta testing, safety score thing was displayed to us users. So anyway, things that actually match up: forward collision warnings, of course, that was a really big no-no. Auto steer strikeouts were another really big deal. You didn't want those two things. They did not have drive hours explicitly in the one that we were using for the beta testing thing. What they call longitudinal acceleration variance just meant how many G's that you were applying as you braked. Headway ratio is, they said you had to be between 1 and 3 seconds behind the car in front of you to get the safety score. If it was less than a second, you got bad. So it's just kind of a different way of putting this. ABS events, of course, I don't remember being specifically in there. I think they were kind of wrapped up in the forward collision warnings. But anyway, there is ABS events here. What I don't see here is the turning. You weren't allowed to exceed a certain turning acceleration latitudinally. So there's longitude back and forth, but there's also latitudinal acceleration. And so you weren't allowed to do that either. I don't see that in this thing for the insurance. Again, this might be an older thing. I tried to look up the original image and it was deleted. So anyway, I'm taking this off of what might be something that's several months old, and Tesla may have just refined what they're talking about and how they display it. But anyway, this is what's in the article itself. And of course, more or less, it matches up with what we were seeing for the full self-driving beta test safety score. Speaking of which, of course, the beginning of this article is actually kind of nice. It goes through the whole thing about the safety score, talks about the strange behavior of Tesla drivers. If you recall, I was talking about this a lot. I'll post a video or two up here, but I talked a lot about how you had to drive very, very carefully in order to get that very, very high score. But anyway, so I won't go through that. You can certainly read it. I'll put a link to this article, of course, in the description so you can read it yourself. But I'm just going to kind of like zip through this whole thing. They also discussed the simulation function, which was really useful for us safety score people. You could put in some other numbers and see how many more miles you'd have to drive and what kind of score you'd have to get in order to get like a 98 or a 99 or 100 or something like that. So yeah, so all of that is contained in there. Anyway, it then sort of goes into how this whole thing works in terms of insurance. So it assumes a score of 90 at the beginning. I don't know if that'll be a little bit different for people who've already been driving Teslas. Like, they have your last 30 days, so they could actually give you a real rating. But at least according to this, you start off with a score of 90, and then every month you can go up and down. It shows a little description here. This thing is a little confusing on the safety score from trips. I don't know if that's like individual trips that you're making. It says updated at the end of each billing cycle, so I'm not exactly sure. But this one apparently is the more important one, the safety score for rating. So anyway, it starts off at a score of 90, right? So your first month, you get $121. If it stays that, if it goes up, your charge is reduced. Obviously, this is in US dollars here since it has a dollar sign. If it goes down, you get a higher charge. If it goes back up again, it's a lower charge again, right? So you can see that basically every month, whatever your score is for that month determines your monthly premium. So anyway, that's what Tesla uses to determine your premium amount, and it's a variable thing per month. For most insurance companies, of course, you get 6 months or a year at a time, and then they reevaluate your score after that point. Or if you get in an accident or a bunch of tickets or something, then they adjust it, right? But anyway, so it's very, very precise, and it goes up and down relatively quickly. And I believe that you actually get an internal score like during the month that tells you at least what your driver safety score is and potentially what your payment amount might be. Again, I'm in the state of Georgia. We don't have this option yet, so I can't see it myself. But anyway, that's my understanding of it. Then the article goes into what's been done in Germany so far. So far, they've had pay-as-you-drive or usage-based insurance are the two most common quasi-telematics. These, of course, are based on what they say is the usual risk categories and risk factors like your age, your gender, your driving record, etc. So those are the kind of standard things. I think worldwide, that's more or less what insurance is based on. But as they say, in contrast, Tesla wants to establish a model that is based purely on driving behavior, but not on factors such as age, gender, and the like. The fact that telematics tariffs have not been in demand so far is also due to data protection concerns. This is a big thing, and it's interesting how this is potentially rolling out in Europe, which has much more severe data privacy restrictions than the United States, at least most states in the United States. Again, quoting the article, as a rule, an additional device must be installed in the vehicle that records certain driving data and transmits it to the insurer. So far, only a few users are willing to do this. And this is where Tesla's big advantage is, of course. Tesla has an advantage here because the vehicles are inherently mobile computers, the commissioning of which is accompanied by extensive data release by the buyer, as well as the activation of further options. Since the insurance is also taken out via the Tesla app and no data is transferred to a third party in the case of an additional insurance contract with the vehicle manufacturer, few concerns are to be expected here. So basically they're saying from a data privacy thing, they have two advantages. Number one is that people who drive Teslas are already used to all their data going to the mothership anyway. So they've kind of already agreed to this and are more likely to go ahead and agree to the even more restrictive VIN-associated data that comes out when you're doing insurance. So that's a likelihood people will be more likely to do that. The second part is that Tesla itself is getting this data and utilizing this data in-house. So it's not having to go out to another insurance company. So that should, I guess, smooth the whole data privacy issue thing. Of course, the article does go on to give a caveat. However, it remains to be seen whether the German data protection officers will also accept this approach or whether a clear dividing line must be drawn between vehicle operation and insurance business. For this very reason, Tesla has not yet been able to offer any telematics tariffs in California. The article then talks about how Tesla insurance could be a really big deal. Quotes Elon Musk saying it could be 30 or 40% the value of the car itself afterwards, right? So that as you own the car for 5 or 7 years or something like that, that the value of Tesla selling you their insurance could be 30 to 40% of the cost of the car. So that's a really, really big deal. So anyway, the important part here is that Tesla, by having very precise information about individual drivers, is not basing their decisions upon statistics, but rather an actual knowledge of individual drivers. And here there's a breakdown. This, of course, being a graphic, is still in German. I love German. They have things like Schadenmanagement, which is awesome. I mean, it's just like the management of sadness or sorrow or something like that. German is such a great language. But anyway, as you might expect, the biggest part of this is like the repairs and all of that sort of thing, right? So the payouts and all of that. And so you can see that when you add up traditional insurance, it adds up to 100%. Tesla insurance is like 52 to 65% because these costs are reduced because they're basing this on individual drivers and costing it out to individuals so they can be much more precise about how much they need to charge you. So the consumer wins because generally speaking, we'll get lower prices. And I would assume that consumers who see that they would get higher prices will just stick with their other insurance company. So, so Tesla basically skims off the people that are going to be better drivers anyway, and they can charge them less money. And therefore, over the course of all of these factors, they're saving a whole bunch. They're at about 35 to 48% reduction in price versus traditional insurance. And of course, they specify that as a general cost savings between 20 and 40%, even 20%, again, big deal, right? Saving 20% off of something that's like $100+ a month is a really big deal. And of course, if you're really, really careful, you could save over 50% on your traditional insurance costs. So then we get to the when. Starting in Germany at the end of 2022, ? So far, Tesla offers its insurance in 5 US states. Tesla customers can book telematics insurance in Texas, Illinois, Arizona, and Ohio, but they can't do that in California, even though insurance is offered there. Interestingly enough, and something I didn't know, an insurance subsidiary was formed in China in August of 2020, followed by a branch in Malta in March 2021, which enables market entry for the entire EU. So as Malta is part of the EU, a little country, right? They're kind of like, I like how they do that kind of under the radar. It seems to be like what businesses do. But anyway, they enter in a small country that's part of the EU, and then they use that to be able to go to the whole EU. And also very interestingly, approval for the German market was granted by BaFin, which I assume is whatever the bureaucratic entity is that allows these kinds of things, almost a year ago. So we're looking at sometime early in 2021. So now the next steps are taking place. This is slightly awkward English, so I'll kind of give a slight redo of it. Anyway, according to Die Welt, the company has formally created a company named Tesla Insurance German branch, which is registered in the German Commercial Register. The company is based at Tesla-Straße 1 in Grünheide, which of course is exactly where the Gigafactory is. Apparently, there's been some speculation that the insurance would roll out with production at Gigafactory Berlin, but apparently that's not going to happen. Quote, the start of the insurance business in this country is not yet to be expected with the start of production in the summer. Tesla CFO Zach Kirkhorn, actually master of coin, Zach Kirkhorn, was satisfied with the experiences from Texas at the analyst meeting in January. After the first 3 months, the telematics-based vehicle insurance was able to win numerous consumers there, and the program is also working well from an economic point of view. That's why they want to expand the program in the USA over the course of the year, and if it continues to be successful, then tackle the European market, quote, possibly towards the end of the year, unquote. Then sales would also start in Germany. So yeah, there you have it. If it works well, if things go well in the United States, it sounds like the EU and Germany could actually start seeing the potential for Tesla insurance by the end of this year. More likely probably the beginning of 2023, but we're already 2 months into 2022, so it's not that much longer. So hopefully within a year, people will be able to get Tesla insurance in the EU as well as in most places in the United States. So fingers crossed that all works out. I, of course, am looking forward to seeing what my insurance rates might be with Tesla insurance, and I'm sure everybody in the EU is as well. All right, I hope you enjoyed this episode and found it fun and thought-provoking. If you did, please do hit the like button so other people can find it. And of course, consider subscribing for more of this kind of content. As always, a huge shout out to my patrons on Patreon, especially Claudia. You seem to be the one who's generating all these videos lately. So thank you in particular. If you want to join the team, definitely check out the link in the description. And if you're interested in a whole bunch of really cool merch, check out our merch store. Link is in the description. We have TeslaBot t-shirts, the Tesla meme t-shirt, Success is a Possible Outcome, 4680 battery cells. All of that stuff is on t-shirts, mugs, tumblers, and on. So check it out. And for those of you interested in investing, check out WeBull, an amazing platform for buying and selling stocks, and now cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Dogecoin, and others. Open an account and get a free stock valued at up to $200, and fund your account and get another free stock valued at up to $1,600. Check out the link in the description and help the channel at the same time. Thank you. And finally, don't forget we are both Tesla and Amazon affiliates. If you look in the description, you can see how going shopping for a solar roof, a power wall, or anything on Amazon helps out the channel. In the meantime, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.